Talking Music with Big Andy. In this week's podcast, Sleepwalking Animals for Talking Music with me, Big Andy. Hello and welcome to the podcast. I am Big Andy and I have with me the members of the band Sleepwalking Animals. Hi guys.
Hello.
Yeah. Now you are kind of split between London and Manchester, is that right?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, but no one's actually in Hull at the moment. So, yeah.
Fair enough. Now, how long is it you've been together? Because I was looking at when you'd released stuff, but I couldn't quite find anything about when you actually got together.
It's been a bit sort of spread out across a few years, Andy. To be honest, we first started playing music together in 2019, and since then to now, in that time gap, we've accrued 2 extra members, potentially 3 extra members. Lost a member, and we just trying to.
They didn't die. It's just
we didn't die. we didn't kill it.
Misplaced him somewhere.
yeah, he's still knocking about. But so yeah, I think probably as the 5-6 piece that we are now, we've not been going that long, under a year really.
Okay.
We're on together.
I saw you brought out a single in 2020, February 2020. Now, I know I'm a bit thick when it comes to a lot of things, but how actually do you pronounce the title of your first single?
Angus's Fool.
Ah, right. I couldn't work out how that was pronounced.
It's the Irish spelling.
Okay, right. So that came out in 2020, and then in 2021, this year in September, you put the album out, or a EP rather, Sleepwalking Animals. So is that all that you've released so far, or do you have some other stuff on other platforms?
They're all our official releases so far. We did 3 singles, spaced them out, and then those 3 singles are actually on the EP as well. So there's 3 extra songs that weren't released as singles that are just part of the EP.
Okay.
And now we're kind of heads in writing the album, getting the album recorded, and that's the next step.
Yeah. So it's everywhere I looked. See, I was a bit confused because some of the places I saw you described as alt rock, some places as folk rock, and some places as alt folk rock. And I'm not quite sure what that is really.
Neither are we, to be honest. It's quite difficult to pin us down genre-wise. So I think that's why you're seeing multiple different interpretations.
I guess because we're quite new, it's constantly changing as well. So yeah, I mean that is a tricky one, isn't it? Trying to pinpoint one.
I did see a couple of places where you had reviews where you were kind of being compared to bands like Mumford and Sons, but I must admit I don't really. From what I've heard, I don't really get the comparison as such, apart from the fact that you do have that kind of folky vibe to what you do.
What would you say the genre is?
Sorry?
What would you say the genre is then?
I don't know. You see, I'm not very big on genres. I don't like pigeonholes. I don't like putting bands in pigeonholes. I prefer it to just be called music, because it's just like that way you get to play whatever you want to play and how you want to play it, you know. So if one day you want to play a folky sort of reel and the next day you want to play a punky sort of guitar based anthem, then what you can do. You know, it's just doesn't make it any less of a song or any less good, really. So, what would you class it as?
And we've always having this issue, aren't we? Whenever anyone asks us that question, how do you describe the music? And it's you've just done a really good job of it there. We don't try and conform to any pre-existing genre. We write and we're inspired by artists that have come before us, and we just sort of write and sing noises that make us feel it. Yeah.
I was going to say, what sort of influences do you all have? I mean, you know, where have you all come from musically?
Wow. Joe?
Well, I remember the first sort of like getting into trying to find new music. I was watching MTV. I remember it, watching the videos and just trying to like search for new people to download off LimeWire because I was poor and couldn't afford to buy proper CD. That was the first one I can remember is Fall Out Boy. I remember, I think it was like Thanks for the Memories or something. And I listened to that and I thought that was sick. And then I got into all this sort of like pop punk, sort of Sum 41 and all Blink-182. Got into all that. And then did musical theatre. So musicals.
Musical theatre.
Yeah. And then I don't know, yeah, just I listen when I was drumming, I used to listen to a lot of like big band stuff. Yeah, quite like I've watched it like ages ago, watched the Daft Punk documentary, got into Daft Punk and all the electronic sort of stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, everything.
What about the rest of you guys?
Go on, new one.
I think the first sort of music I fell into was choral music because in school, well, I joined the choir when I was like 10 years old. And then I sang through school in a choir I started as a soprano and then I went on to sing all the parts. I think that was my foundation in singing and sort of led me into sort of singing harmonies and all that stuff.
He's a soprano in our band now.
Yeah. And then at home, because I'm from Sri Lanka, and at home, like whenever our family, my mum's side especially, because my mum's from like at home, it's like a very famous town for music. Most of the musicians from Sri Lanka are from that town. So like whenever we had a family get together, every get together after dinner, we would just jam. Everyone would just pick up a guitar, some drums, and just jam. And that was very much like a very organic sort of singing. Anyone could sing, anyone could play. That was like very nice to be like a part of, just like to be able to join and do anything you want. I think that was sort of my foundation. Then I also went on to do musical theatre and join these lads. That's about it, really.
Yes.
I mean, I grew up. My dad's a musician, and I grew up listening to a lot of the stuff that he liked, and that you know, he used to write his own stuff as well, and he was in various bands. But like things like, you know, Frank Sinatra was a big one in our house. Chet Baker, all of his amazing trumpet solos, and Louis Armstrong, and then you know, when they were sort of funking things up a bit, it would be like, you know, Rolling Stones, Beatles, Black Sabbath. Just it like went right across the board. Right. So I was infatuated, and still am a little bit, with sort of like medieval madrigal music. There's sort of complex harmonies and counter rhythms and mad time signatures. You know, that they're all things that I really wanted to be able to write for myself. So like, you know, being in the choirs and stuff that me and Joe went to sixth form college together. We've known each other since we were kids. And we were in the same choir at college, and we used to do all the sort of John Rutter stuff, and then, you know, everything to the requiems and glorias and all the, you know, all those things. So
Yeah.
church rousing music was always something that I was very, very into. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and it's the same. I grew up on my dad's music as well, I guess, like Bowie and T-Rex, kind of that kind of 70s rock kind of thing. And then loved all the indie bands when they came out, like Razorlight and stuff when I was younger. So, and then that was kind of my kind of music when I was younger. But I think we've all kind of been in like choirs and stuff, haven't we?
Mm.
So I think that's where we get the kind of the desire to put more like choral harmony kind of stuff in it, and we can all kind of use it. So I think we enjoy it. So
Yeah, I noticed. I mean, the fact that you all sing, and that you know you do use the full harmonies, that sort of thing, is interesting, because it makes a real difference to the sound you get.
yeah, it's more difficult live, which was
Yeah.
because our sound's definitely a lot kind of heavier when we're playing live, and then to try and get the very, very kind of ornate and kind of complex harmonies as well is fucking difficult.
Yeah. It's one of those things. It's you know, if you got a really good sound system and a really good sound engineer, you might be able to manage it. But if you're doing it yourself, a lot of the time you're trying to do that while you're also doing everything on stage. It's a bit difficult to.
You contending with crowd noise as well, and you're trying to lock into each other to make sure that you're all on the same. Yeah, it's a tricky beast playing live. We haven't had chance because of lockdown, and venues haven't been open for live gigs. So we're really trying to get the practice in now.
I don't know many bands when they play live that don't play louder, heavier, and faster than they do in the studio. So.
We did a good kind of unplugged gig the other day, didn't we? So it's nice to know we can hit those extremes. We can do it.
Yeah.
Almost acoustically, and it pretty much sounds the same. And then we can do it in a good dance live setting and get the audience going as well. Do you know what I mean? So
it's actually really good to do those stripped back gigs where, you know, you don't have a full drum kit, you don't have, you know, millions of amps blasting all the sound, because it makes it. Well, I did anyway. I fell in love with our music again the other night, and we were sort of locking into it and just really enjoying it. There was no pressure. The crowd were lovely and quiet and attentive, and it was Nuan missed out on that one. It was just me, Jack, Joe, and Alex who played that one, and yeah, it was really nice. We were just missing Nuan's lovely soaring harmonies.
Alex is missing at the moment. Is he?
Yeah. He's off to work.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Let's have a look at a clip from a video.
Light as a feather, but tough as a stone. When you're barely together, but never alone. When a hand on the leg is the best you can do. I know you can't see it, but love looks good. I wanna read you a passage from yesterday's paper, and you listened and looked with a smile that escapes you. Do you know that you bring out the best in me too? I know you can't see it, but love looks good on you. And whoa, I've been waiting since the last time I was here for you to come home. Took a while, but now you're here. And somehow nothing matters now. Love looks good on you. Love looks good sullen whispers from under her breath. She's fire and ice, and she'll carry you through.
So how has everything been during the lockdown? I mean, has it put a lot of pressure on you? Has it been difficult to get stuff done, or have you found it a lot easier to work on the sort of the writing and production side of things?
I don't think we've wasted time in any way. I think we've used the time well. We've been sort of, I don't know, getting started with new songs, writing new things, sharing them in the WhatsApp group. We were a WhatsApp band for maybe a year and a half, so
yeah.
It was that was tricky, but it did mean that we had the time to be focusing on things, and our day jobs weren't happening. So it was good to actually have the time to focus on it.
So, I mean, have you had a lot of chance to play live gigs? I mean, obviously starting 2019 and doing it with the lockdown, have you played many live gigs at all?
Only just now, really, we're starting to play again. I mean, we've got a tour in a couple of weeks, and that will be kind of our big first few gigs on it, really.
Mm-hmm.
We've done a couple in London so far.
We had an EP launch a couple of Mondays ago at Fiddler's Elbow to a sold out crowd, which was great. And we did a full. Our set was just over an hour, and we had two supporting acts, and sold a load of merch as well, which was great. So
yeah,
really lucky to have our supportive friends, and also people we haven't met who are fans now and coming to gigs, and always meeting someone new, which is nice. So yeah, just hoping that it all continues to go in that trajectory.
Yeah, I noticed. I mean, I don't know if you've been part of this at all, but I've interviewed a few bands on this the last year that come from Manchester and the surrounding area. There seems to be a big kind of movement in that area of new bands that have come out in the last few years. And they're not all the same. It's not all, everyone sounds the same and they're all playing the same type of music, but there does seem to be a big, like a big build up of new bands in that area in the last couple of years. Have you noticed that? And is there actually kind of like a scene there? Or?
Especially like what they call the Lanthams, aren't they? Lanthams, yeah. There might be a chart-topping album now, which is, I listened to the album the other day, and it's like, it is something I would have listened to, like in the early noughties kind of thing. So it's got that like guitar-driven band kind of thing, but it just isn't in the charts. Hasn't been in the charts for like years, has it? Like a decade.
No.
Now that's coming back. There's like a resurgence, which is good. And they're all from the kind of like the north, I guess. So
Manchester's always been a very music-centric city as well. We've had some massive bands come out of the city, and with the Hacienda and all those iconic music venues.
Really, yeah.
You do well if you're from Manchester or you have anything to do with Manchester, and you avoid music.
It's kind of like there was a huge scene or a huge thing of bands going on there for a while, and then it kind of died off a bit, and now it seems to be coming back again. There seems to be a lot of new bands coming out of that area again, which is good.
It's all like lockdown to start writing music.
It just takes being locked into a house for a few months, and then you start being creative.
Yeah.
I guess it bodes well for us, doesn't it, that people will still listen to a band as opposed to like kind of a solo R&B artist or something, which are great own genre, of course, but like
it's also nice that it's not just the up and coming bands aren't just made up of ones coming out of talent shows and producers getting people to come in and become stars. It's nice to see real bands and real people getting together and doing something themselves. So I must admit, the first track I actually listened to of yours was Friends and Foes, which I really liked.
Oh, great.
So that was lockdown, wasn't it? That was Joe kind of mixed and produced that, and we just did it ourselves, kind of as just something to get out, I guess. We didn't release it officially on streaming platforms or anything. And we did a video to it as well, didn't we? But it was just to get people to have a taste of what we were about to do, kind of thing.
Yeah, that was the video I saw on YouTube. I thought I thought it was a really good song. I think it really worked well. It does show, it shows off your abilities really well.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it was a good experiment, wasn't it? I guess, of like the process of recording and everything. And then after that, we got into the studio properly and recorded some more tracks, didn't we? So that was good.
Here's another video clip.
Been a week with banshees, frozen in the mud pit as they scream, hypnotized by the wide mouths, swallowing the dense sky prophecies. Her creeping up behind those 7 clean days of rage and lust. Queer clovers align up their young, parrying the daggers thrown at us. When it's time to lay me down on the point beneath the sand is where I'll be. Cut off from the real world, wire was cut before we woke. We can live a little freer, girl. Burn all your clothes, now we're wild folk. Take your trust and wrap it up, babe, in mother's woven blanket made for this. I got it with my life, a fist to save the diamonds in your fingertips.
So where did you record the EP of the tracks?
So there's a studio in Stockport called Green Velvet, which is in one of the old mills in Stockport.
Yeah.
Johnny, who owns it, sort of like kitted it out, and I think his dad helped him build it. And it's just like a little room, and we took a few days in there and just had a laugh, recorded some songs.
Yeah, well, that's I mean, this is the thing. The thing about it is, it's if you're going to do this, there's no point in doing it unless you're enjoying it.
Yeah,
because then it just becomes another job, doesn't it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Started out like that as well, and luckily it still remains the case that we did it because we wanted to start a band and we wanted to start playing music together. It wasn't because we wanted to be like, oh yeah, world domination, we're going to be dead famous and rich and all that nonsense. It was because it was what we were doing.
Interestingly, I saw an interview with somebody a little while ago who's quite famous, and who said that if anybody tells you that they became a musician and it wasn't just purely and simply to get girls, then they're lying.
No, it's all about the craft. It's all about the craft. Yeah.
To get girls, Andy. So it's like, so that's obviously.
I think it's more that sort of case is when you're kind of like a teenager. If you're sort of 14 or 15, you decide you want to form a band or want to become a guitarist. Yeah. You do it because it's like that's a good way to get women interested in you.
All men.
All men, yeah, whichever you may be looking for. But that was Dave Grohl, by the way. Dave Grohl said that on an interview. So your latest or the newest thing that you've released is Dance Laura Dance.
Yeah, that's on the EP as well. Yeah, so that's was that in.
That's I watched the video thing you did for that as well. That's I don't know. It's a bit different to the earlier stuff. Is it?
Yeah, I mean, we wrote that in lockdown as well, didn't we? So it came quite. Yeah, it was quite late, wasn't it? I guess.
Yeah, Jack did that one. Jack did that one on his own and sent that one through to us all during the first lockdown.
Yeah.
And just remember getting such a powerful reaction to it and sort of buzzing to just get up on our feet and play it together.
Mm.
You know, make it a really valued part of our set. And yeah, I guess it is a bit different in the sort of the use of the mandolin, and you know, it's very sort of driven by that rhythmic aspect of the mando.
Yeah.
But it's just so good. It just feels guttural when we're singing it.
Yeah. I also noticed the new one. You it says you're a percussionist rather than a drummer.
Yes.
So do you not play drums? Do you just or do you play drums as well as percussion?
I've only played a very little amount of drum kit, but when I joined the boys, they wanted some kit playing, so I played the kit for a little while. And whatever we need, basically, if we need kit and there's no one to play, I play kit. If not percussion, I play percussion. And when I say percussion, I don't play. I think I can play melodic percussion like xylophone or anything like that, because I do play piano, but I've never tried anything like that.
Right.
And even the percussion I've played is just like self-taught. It's just what I feel, really.
Okay.
But yeah, whatever we need, I've just played.
You want to do that? Yeah.
Huh?
You want to play that, will you?
Just make it up as you go along.
Yeah, pretty much.
Being very modest, is like percussive. His djembe is fucking incredible, which is why it's tricky for us, because we're like, do we want a full kit or do we want just like the djembe? Like, what does it offer that's different, kind of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a tricky one, isn't it?
I think it's a really defining aspect of why we have a unique sound is what Nuan does and what Nuan brings to the band. With the djembe, with the tabla, with all the different bits of percussive instrumentation that you have. It's just it brings it just brings like a homemade, rustic, raw feeling to it, rather than a really sort of lovely generic tuned drum kit,
It's a very interesting mix of sounds when you've got things like mandolins and the more kind of traditional folk instruments, and you've then got the percussion, which is more is it more Asian inspired, maybe in some cases, and that sort of thing. It gives it a very different feel to a lot of other stuff that's around, and it does make it very interesting to listen to.
I guess it's like there's the sparseness with it, isn't it? Which I get even when you're playing the kit. It's you try to keep it so it's not like a groove throughout the whole thing, which I guess a lot of bands just do because you feel like you need that. But as long as we keep the kick going, like we can put different percussive elements and they come in and out and kind of thing. So it's almost like a melody line in itself. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Being a beat.
And he's playing these crazy rhythms on the djembe or tabla or whatever, and singing a really, really tricky harmony at the same time. The man's brain is on fire. It's just...
And so, I mean, how do the songs come together? Do you kind of write them together, or do you come up with a sort of riff or a melody and then fit everything around that, or
all of that?
Yeah.
All of that.
Quite different every time.
Yeah.
It's like someone will come up with some lyrics, someone will come up with a melody, someone will come up with a guitar part. It's very sort of collaborative. So yeah, like everyone has a go.
But then what usually happens, we usually make a demo of it, and then it's from that demo that we'll create the song together, I guess. Yeah, teach the parts and that kind of thing, or create new parts for it. Yeah, so the demos of them are quite important, I think, for us to be able to hear the whole sound before we come together, I guess, which you could do it both ways, but it's nice to hear it as a track before you hear it together live, because when you play it live, it's very different. You tend to be focused on what you're doing, kind of thing, and there's a different part of your brain rather than just listening to the track. You know, you get you get everything, I guess.
Yeah. One more video clip.
Back beside your bed, heart monitor beats. Try not to cry as my soul starts to wake. Oh, hold me strong, you who smiles for too long. How do you fight, tongue tied up in the night? Once was my teacher of joy, divided song, of ringing and flowing in churches long gone. Find me the strength and the spirit romance. Give me the strength and the spirit to dance. Dance or a dance or a dance. Dance or a dance or a dance. Skies are fading every day. You seem a little more like yourself. Skies are fading every day. You climb a little higher yourself.
So, where from here? Where do you want to take this from here? Do you have a big plan that, you know, in 10 years' time you'll be doing festivals and massive arena tours, or are you just kind of like seeing how it goes at the moment?
Well, a bit of both, really. We're seeing how it goes, but also in the back of our minds, thinking we'd love to play arenas. We'd love to play, you know, the Palladium in London. Like have like, you know, Sleepwalking Animals gigs that are at huge venues all across the country and worldwide. We'd love that. We'd love that. The buzz of that was, you know, you can't replicate something like that.
No.
But also, we're at a stage where we're kind of throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks. And you know, meeting people, talking to people in the industry that can advise or help guide us in whatever way that we need guiding at the moment. But I think we're definitely at a stage now where we can get excited and where we can start pushing ourselves a bit further and you know, branching out a bit and just trying to get as many more gigs in as we can.
So, I mean, you're getting out to do more gigs now. You got this tour thing lined up, and you've got the new album that you've been working on, which I'm assuming you're going to release. Is that going to be released before the end of the year, or
No.
no?
Oh no, that'll be sometime next year, or the year after,
The single was out first. I think that's
Right.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
the album when you're trying to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to be the thing that a lot of bands are doing now, which is putting out singles on odd tracks and things like that online to try and kind of test the water and to see and get your name, keep your name in the public consciousness, as it were, for, over a period of months, so that they know who you are if they see you somewhere playing live, and then hit them with the album kind of at the end of that. See, I think it's a very good way of doing it nowadays. It certainly seems to work for a lot of bands.
Yeah, I think so. I think that'd be a good plan.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I wish you all the best with everything. I do. I love your music. I think it's great. It's got a really. I hate to use the word unique because of the fact that I could never. Whenever I say something's unique, people say to me, "No, it's not." And I'm a band that sound just like that. So, but it is different and it's very good, and I like it. So I hope you do well with everything, and I hope to see you playing live all over the place very soon, and hear more music from you. Everybody out there watching, I would like to say that you need to check out Sleepwalking Animals and look at their, as I always do, I'll put links to their YouTube channel and their social media and all that kind of stuff so that you can check out their music and check out their stuff and see where they're playing live and when. So thank you very much, guys, for joining us.
Nice one.
It's been great talking to you. And thank you to everyone for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.
Yeah.
Talking music with Big and